India also witnessed its first digitally fueled mutinies. Last December, a young medical student, about 20 to 24 years of age, was kidnapped and brutally gang raped in a very savage incident, which unfortunately happened in the capital, New Delhi. Tragically, such incidents are not rare, but they usually do not catch the attention of people in the manner which this particular incident did. Something dramatically different happened. Protests erupted and the establishment was taken unawares. Because after all, what could they do? The police had caught the robbers. There was nothing more to do. That something very different was happening became very clear when one person said, "I wish I could have joined these protests." And the person who said this happened to be the Chief Justice of Supreme Court of India. The highest legal officer in the country was actually saying, "I wish I could have joined those protests even when the law enforcement agencies were trying to curb those protests." This had never happened before. The highest legal officer of the country was actually sympathetic to a protest which was taking place. There is no doubt that the Delhi incident was truly horrible and deserves to be condemned in the strongest possible terms. Unfortunately, that incident was neither the first, and unfortunately, neither would that be the last. And it also exposed a gender divide, because it baffled many Indian men. Their refrain was, rapes unfortunately happen all the time. Why should the nation be held hostage to one particular incident? Because that's what happened in India. The entire discussion, entire press, entire media was completely revolving around this incident for almost about a month. Their query was, are there not other issues to tackle? And the crasser ones spoke their mind and were roundly criticized. But the more insidious ones, kept and quietly worked to keep this incident off the center stage. And that's where a gender divide about rape comes in, because rape may anger a sensitive man, but it doesn't make him insecure about his physical safety. For a woman, it's the ultimate stage of a horror she faces, unfortunately, many times. The differential gender reaction to this depraved act for centuries have been expressed in male terms, particularly in India. And for the first time, the female fury took over in a manner that was simply incomprehensible to a lot of men. And what allowed this female fury to explode on the conscience of people like Justice Altamas Kabir was the power of social media. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of information technology. We are all in an era when using collaborative powers of ICTs will soon become the norm. It will not be an exception. Everyone today has a voice. No matter, for eons, they were voices. That is the change we are witnessing in our lifetime, here and now. So, having spoken about why Indo-Pak relations are important for the world community in U.S., what has happened, speaking about the new change which is likely to come up using ICTs, which is to bring about a social change, not only confine itself to corporate sector collaborations. Let's talk about designing and implementing structured ICT enablement, because we are all students of science, students of management science and other disciplines. We have to bring structure to what we want to create. So let's talk about designing and implementing structured ICT enabled platforms for collaborations which can bring about the social change. And what we have done, and I have the course curriculum with me. What we have done over the last 1 year is designed a course curriculum which will provide structured ICT enabled platform for collaboration. This course design will basically provide responsible computer education. This will address the concerns of the parents who are torn today between the need for their child to learn the computers as well as dangers that they face. They worry about dangers that they face by unrestrained use of digital literacy. So what we are planning to do is to encourage students to do an annual project in a carefully designed environment, reaching out to the world, starting from the classroom to the world, starting with one-way communication, graduating to a two-way communication, and thereby converting the information communicated to them into knowledge by doing projects. The underlying idea is therefore to shape truly globally conscious citizens, no matter where you are, who are grounded in their local realities and driven by passion to be an agent of change. And Professor Barika and I are working together, and I'm sure you will get support also from the Southern University to implement this across Asia, Africa, and possibly America. I'll not go into details of the course curriculum which are available with me. So let me now go to the fifth topic, which is identifying issues of present-day relevance, where collaboration between young generation, unburdened by the past, is not only desirable but also possible. Because computer education that we have designed is fine. Computer education, there are courses and courses and courses. So what is it that is different in this course? And that's what I would like to talk about. Because learning information technology, all of us know is essential. But all of us also know that internet can be a very dangerous place and crawling with all kinds of bugs. In an age not long back, a mother could feel secure after she got her daughter inside the house, or son inside the house. And she could rest in peace that the child is in the safe confines of the house and therefore secure. But that's not true anymore. Within the safety of the home, the child can be subjected to various kinds of abuses once the child is alone. So how does one provide security to the child? Parental locks are a bad idea, because for one we say that we cannot trust the child. That's what the image that we can communicate to the child. And secondly, more importantly, it's often the child who will tell the parent how to use the parental lock. Banning websites doesn't work. Snooping on the child is simply not feasible. You will end up alienating the child even more. Then the only answer is to provide the child a context, some values. Now that is a $1 million question, because which values to use? That's a very, very divisive debate. What is right and what is wrong? Which values do we teach children? Religious? Cultural? Social? If you are talking of religious, then which religions? Christian? Muslim? Hindu? Buddhist? Which one? If you're talking of cultural, then do we teach them so-called Western values, which are supposed to emphasize on the individual, or do we teach them so-called Eastern values, which are supposed to focus on the family values? By the way, those two distinctions are also not strictly correct. And if we talk of cultural, then how do we deal with the debate on, let's say, abortion? Is abortion an inalienable female right, or is it a sin? And then what about gay rights? So, in any case, which of these values is going to give the child a context to use digital literacy and protect the child alike? There are no easy answers. And actually one is tempted to give up altogether. During last 1 year, one of our project partners, Dr. Soni, who is the Vice Chancellor of the university with which we are collaborating in doing this project of digital literacy in the state of Gujarat in India, Dr. Manoj Soni, I had a series of iterative exchanges with him. And we agreed that the values that we need to talk about need to have three characteristics. One, they should be universal and therefore applicable across nations, cultures and societies. Two, it should appeal to the child as having a personal stake. And three, engage the child by having a wealth of information available on him. And it's our considered opinion that the United Nations Millennium Development Goals fulfill all these three criteria. So let me explain. Universal appeal. The UN Millennium Development Goals, 8 of them, have been agreed by nations across the world. No dissenting voice.